What if I told you that your biggest moment of courage won't be your first? Maybe it was sharing the gospel with a coworker for the first time, your heart pounding as you tried to find the right words. Or leading a meeting at work when your voice wouldn't stop shaking. Or finally confronting someone you love about something hard when every part of you wanted to stay silent. In those moments, we find out what we're really made of. But here's the thing, those big public moments, they're never really about that one moment. They're about all the small, hidden moments that came before. The times no one was watching. The times you had to choose courage when it would have been easier to quit. That's exactly what happened with David. When we think of David and Goliath, we picture a young shepherd boy stepping onto a battlefield to face an impossible giant. But here's what most people miss. Goliath wasn't David's first monster. Long before that famous day in the Valley of Elah, David had already been fighting battles that would have broken most men. And those battles? They weren't accidents, they were preparation. Picture this. You're alone in the wilderness. The sun is setting. You're responsible for dozens of sheep, helpless, defenseless creatures. And then you hear it, the low growl of a lion, or the heavy breathing of a bear circling your flock in the darkness. What do? Most shepherds would run. They'd cut their losses. But not David. In 1 Samuel 17, when David stands before King Saul, he reveals something extraordinary. He says, "Your servant has been keeping his father's sheep. When a lion or a bear came and carried off a sheep from the flock, I went after it, struck it, and rescued the sheep from its mouth. When it turned on me, I seized it by its hair, struck it, and killed it." Read that again. David didn't just chase predators away, he hunted them down. He grabbed them by their fur and killed them with his bare hands. This wasn't one isolated incident. He killed both a lion and a bear. This wasn't recklessness. This was a shepherd who understood that every single life under his care mattered. Every sheep was worth fighting for. So yes, these battles absolutely made David a great shepherd. But not just in skill, in character. Think about what those lonely nights in the wilderness taught him. Courage under pressure. When danger came, David didn't freeze. He didn't calculate the odds. He acted. Sacrificial love. He was willing to risk his own life for creatures that couldn't defend themselves or even thank him. Dependence on God. David didn't boast about his own strength. He told Saul, "The Lord who rescued me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear will rescue me from the hand of this Philistine." Every battle with a predator was teaching David that God was faithful. That courage isn't the absence of fear, it's trusting God when everything tells you to run. And here's the beautiful part. David wasn't protecting sheep because it was glorious. No one was watching. There were no crowds, no songs, no fame. He was faithful in the hidden places, in the wilderness, when it was just him, the sheep, and God. That's what made him ready for Goliath. And then came the day that changed everything. A giant named Goliath stood in the Valley of Elah, 9 feet tall, covered in armor, mocking the army of Israel, and defying the living God, the creator of heaven and earth, the King of kings, and Lord of lords. For 40 days, he challenged them. For 40 days, trained soldiers, warriors who had fought in battles, stood frozen in fear. But then a shepherd boy walked onto the battlefield. When King Saul tried to give David armor, he took it off. He didn't need it. He grabbed 5 smooth stones and his sling, the same tools he'd used against the lion and the bear. And when Goliath saw him and laughed, David didn't flinch. He said, "You come against me with sword and spear and javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hands." 1 stone, 1 shot. The giant fell. But here's what everyone misses. David wasn't brave because he was reckless. He was brave because he'd already seen God come through. The lion proved it. The bear proved it. Goliath was just the next battle, and David knew who was fighting with him. That's what hidden faithfulness does. It doesn't just prepare you for the big moment. It gives you unshakable confidence that God will show up when it matters most. So what does all this mean for us today? David's story isn't just ancient history, it's a blueprint for how God prepares us for the battles we'll face. So the next time you hear the story of David and Goliath, remember, that wasn't beginner's luck. That was a warrior who had already proven his courage in the darkness, when no one was watching except God. David was a great shepherd, not because he was fearless, but because he was faithful. Not because he was strong, but because he knew who his strength came from. And here's what that means for you. Those hard conversations you're avoiding. That person you know you need to share the gospel with. that decision that terrifies you. Those aren't just random moments of fear, they're your wilderness. They're your lions and bears. God is preparing you right now in the hidden places for something bigger. Every time you choose courage when no one's watching, you're being shaped. Every time you trust God instead of running, you're becoming who He's called you to be. The question isn't whether you'll face giants. The question is, are you being faithful with the lions and bears right now? Because ultimately, David's story whispers to us about an even greater shepherd. One who didn't just risk his life for the sheep, he gave it. And because of him, you don't have to face your giants alone. Thanks for watching. If this encouraged you, hit that like button and share it with someone who needs to hear this today. And make sure to subscribe to Fire Media, where Christ is the message. Want more content like this? Check out our Faith Over Fear playlist. The link is at the end of this video, in the description, and in the pinned comment. See you in the next one.